Hi, good days. Hope you're doing fine. In this series, we will discuss about the Chaucerean to the Shakespearean period. If you are ready, let's get started. 351 onwards. So Thomas More's Latin work Utopia's English translation came out in the year 1551. Which poem Edmund Spenser wrote in the honor of his own marriage, Epithalamion? Which poem Edmund Spenser wrote in honor of marriage, Prothalamion? How many Petrarchan sonnets are in Edmund Spenser's Amority? 78. Spenser's The Faerie Queene is an allegorical poem. The first installment of The Faerie Queene was published in the year 1589. In which year was its second installment published? 1596. Edmund Spenser introduced the Spenserian stanza consisting of 9 lines. Who introduced couplet ending in Petrarchan sonnet? Wyatt. So Thomas Wyatt contributed his poem in Total's Miscellany. Earl of Surrey introduced blank verse. Who introduced Poutus measure in English poetry? Earl of Surrey. Who is called the Earl of Surrey? Henry Howard. Dorset's poems was appeared in Mirror for Magistrates. Which term is coined by George Gascoigne? Poutus measure. Gascoigne composed The Steel Glass in Rhyme Royal. The first prose comedy supposes is written by Gascoigne. How many sonnets are in Sir Philip Sidney's Astrophel and Stella? 108. Sidney's Arcadia, which is a pastoral romance, is similar to Maude's Utopia. So Philip Sidney's Apology for Poetry is provoked by Drayton's Nymphaea, which is the writer of The Man in the Moon, Drayton. Samuel Daniel's Delia is a sonnet series. The Complaint of Rosamund, which is considered a romance, is written by George Peele. Which work of Samuel Daniel is considered a fine piece of criticism, defense of rhyme? How many writers are the members of University Wits? 7. George Peele's The Famous Chronicle of King Edward I is a rambling chronicle play. Robert Greene's play Das represents the Elizabethan life. Friar Bacon and Tryon Bungay. Robert Greene's Alphonse, King of Organ, was an imitation of Marlowe's Tamburlaine. Which play is adopted from an English translation is Aristo. Greene's Orlando Furioso. The Scottish historic of James IV, which has the vision of the life of King James IV, is written by Robert Greene, who contributed in Marlowe's tragedy of Dido, Queen of Carthage. Thomas Nash. What is the subtitle of Thomas Nash, The Unfortunate Traveller? The Life of Jack Wilton. Thomas Nash, Summer's Lost Will and Testament is a satirical masque. Who among the university wits collaborated with Shakespeare in Henry IV? Thomas Lodge. Thomas Lodge, The Wounds of Civil War is a chronicle play. Who is the writer of the Spanish tragedy? Thomas Kidd. Where was Marlowe born? London. Who wrote Edward II? Marlowe. Which of the following plays of Marlowe is incomplete? The Massacre at Paris. Marlowe's character Dr. Faustus is known for his hunger for knowledge. Which play of Shakespeare remains unfinished? Timon of Athens. Shakespeare's English historical plays are based on Marlowe's tragedies. Who wrote the following lines about Shakespeare? He was the man who of all modern and perhaps ancient poets had the largest and most comprehensive soul. John Dryden. Shakespeare wrote 37 plays. Shakespeare's Roman plays are based on Holinshed's Chronicles. Who said that in Shakespeare's great tragedies character is destiny? A.Z. Bradley. Which plays of Shakespeare are published in parts? Henry VIII and Pericles. Ben Jonson was born in 1573 at Eastminster. He died in 1637 and buried in Westminster Abbey. Who is called father of English classical comedy? Ben Jonson. What is the subtitle of Ben Jonson's Timber Discoveries? Who considered the chief function of literature is to instruct? Ben Jonson. Who wrote Drink to Me Only with Thine Eyes? Ben Jonson. Ben Jonson's Catiline, his conspiracy is a historical tragedy. What is the subtitle of Ben Jonson's Walpole? The Fox. What is the subtitle of Ben Jonson's Epicene? The Silent Woman. Who died by the plague? John Fletcher. Who wrote The Faithful Shepherdess? John Fletcher. Which play is very reminiscent of Twelfth Night? Gloucester. Which play of George Chapman is based on the tragedies of Marlowe? The Blind Beggar of Alexandria. Which play of George Chapman is considered the historical play of contemporary time? Tragedy of Chabot. Which play of John Marston is ridiculed by Johnson in the Poetaster? Antonio's Revenge. Who is called the Dickens of Elizabethan age? Thomas Dekker. In which play Dekker collaborated with Massenger? The Virgin Martyr. Thomas Middleton's Mad World, My Master was published in the year 1623. Which play of Middleton is praised by Lamb and other writers? The Witch. Middleton's The Witch has a strong resemblance to Othello. Victoria and Duchess in Webster's The Duchess of Malfi are considered the two finest women characters of the Elizabethan drama. Who wrote The Revenger's Tragedy? Thomas Heywood. In which two languages did Francis Bacon write? Italian and Latin. How many essays did Francis Bacon write? 58. Francis Bacon's essays first edition appeared in the year 1597, second in 1612 and the third in 1625. Thomas Middleton's The Spanish Gypsy is a tragedy. The best play of Thomas Howard is King Edward IV. Who wrote The Royal King and the Loyal Subject? John Webster. John Webster's The Duchess of Malfi is a comedy. Bazola is a character in The Duchess of Malfi. Fairy Queen is a moral allegory. Who is the author of Toxophilus? Roger Ascham. Who criticizes rude beggarly rhyming? Roger Ascham. Who is the first Tudor chronicler? Edward Hall. Who is a religious writer? Richard Hooker. Hooker's masterpiece is The Laws of Ecclesiastical Policy. Who is the author of Pedants? Sir Thomas Overbury. Which is Burton's famous work? The Anatomy of Melancholy. Burton's diction has a colloquial naturalness. Who is the first to make an attempt at translating the Bible into English? Bede. Who said about comedy, sport with human follies, not with crimes? Ben Jonson. The first English play was called Mystery Play. What is pageant? Theatres. Which is the most famous morality play? Every Man. What is interlude? An offshoot of the morality play. The play of the weather is an interlude. Which type of figures are used in moralities? Personification. Who is the first exempt of English comedy? William Stevenson. Who is the writer of Rolf Doyster? Nicholas Udall. Which is the first work of George Peele? The Arrangement of Paris. Peele's David and Bethsabe is based on a biblical story. What is Peele's history play? Edward I. What is the first of Marlowe's plays? Tamburlaine the Great. What is Marlowe's last play? The Jew of Malta. Who used the blank verse extensively in drama? That's all about this video. Hope this video will be useful one, and thank you so much for watching this video till the end. If you're having any suggestion, let me know in the comment section. We'll see you in next video. Tada, bye bye.